this little slider here, but it doesn't tell me what the slider does. Oh, here it is. It's remove from stream. Okay, so you've been added to this.
You still trying to figure out Restream.
So, well, I don't get to do it with other people very often.
That's true. Yeah, I don't think you get to. Yeah, maybe you should have more guest invitation with like Heidi or somebody else,
Exactly.
whatever they have. Yeah.
Well, I did. I invited everyone in the queue. And by the way, we are live right now. People chattering back and forth.
We are.
Or at least
we
people have clicked so far. Good morning, everybody. I'm the Tesla Tracker here, and we've got with us hopefully for a little while, Cantonese Cat, and we're gonna talk some stuff here today. What I don't want this show to be is I don't want to spend the whole time hand holding while people wring their hands about is the market going to collapse? Because we don't believe the market's collapsing by any means. If anything, the market's giving us opportunities to buy, as Danny would like to say. The market always gives you opportunities to buy, and maybe we didn't take the opportunity to properly sell when things were higher, like say there's a weekly VIX chart. When things started here December 2nd and we didn't sell, things got really scary on December 16th, but then got nicer again. Remember, when the VIX goes down, the market calms down, starts to buy again. And, hopefully you took a little bit off the table. I did not. On December 23rd, got scary again, came back down to this moving average 75. And that was another opportunity to raise cash for when the VIX gets scary again. But it looks like it is doing, it's got a bit of a triangle here. I mean, we had the big scare was December 16th up here. And ever since then, it's just been trying to calm down. And so, I don't know, maybe if we'll get one more blow off back up here, about 21 on the VIX before it goes down. I've got this thing that I've been trying out. I call it my take profits line on the VIX. Whenever it gets this low, and maybe I should adjust it a little higher, but this is I'm just because I didn't sell here, I'm going to adjust this. Here, line. Let's make it a little higher to about, so it dips into it. All right, so if the VIX gets low, definitely think about raising some cash so that you've got cash to buy when the market gives you opportunities like all of these. When it ran up and I didn't have enough cash, and it ran up and I didn't have enough cash. Anyway, so plan for the future. When things look really green, you get happy, then it's not time to buy, as Matt was just saying in the morning show. It's time I would say it's time to trim a little bit and make sure you've got enough cash reserve so that you can buy on the next volatility spike. Here's Tesla. And here is the triangle I'm currently tracking with it. Yeah, I'm just going to do it from right here. It looks markedly different from the chart I drew this morning since price fell back down here to the 388 again. Once you can get over this moving average 75 on this 1 hour chart, then we're going to look a lot better. I thought maybe price would go through this little channel between the green and red Ichimoku clouds, but it looks like it did the opposite. It ran away from the 75 instead of getting over it. So it's just going to push everything out into next week. Obviously, the market wants to, destroy anybody with call options over 400, over 397 even. And that's just where we're at. Sometimes the options market really does control what the stock price does by the end of the week on Fridays. So, Kat, are you available to
I'm
chat?
Here.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I'm listening in. I'm still here.
I want to talk about.
Go for it.
I want to talk about GME and then Tiger because you saw something in your charts that got me really excited to buy into GME again. And I did. I bought GME. You got excited, started talking about how you thought GME was going to hit a turning point. I bought about 29 here, maybe here. I can't remember if it was November or December. These are weekly candlesticks again. But it held up because after you did your thing, and I bought it at 29, now we've got a new level that's higher up here in the 33, 34 area. It's having trouble getting over 34.50, but you can see the Ichimoku cloud wants to draw a battle line up higher here.
Yeah.
So.
And it's the same area too. If you look at the monthly Ichimoku with the conversion and the base, there's like a lot of resistance there around that zone.
Yeah, so, they're stuck together, aren't they? They're kind of glued right together.
Yeah. So the thing is, the question is, okay, is this just going to push through, or are we going to end up getting rejected around that zone and then come back and try to backtest some things, build up more energy before going up higher? It's hard for me to say, like, at this point, because GME is actually showing a lot of relative strength throughout the entire January.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's hard for me to know, but we are getting closer and closer to resistance. If you're a trader, and a lot of people are trader if they're in GME, I think it's reasonable to like get out around 36 to 37 range, somewhere around there. And I think a lot of people might end up doing that. The only question is, if you sell there, where are you going to buy back? Because it's basically just looking like it's just had a higher low, and it's trying to push a higher high, but I'm not sure whether or not it's going to beat that September pump, because there's a lot of resistance up above. There's also a lot of whales going in too, so I'm kind of conflicting. I'm kind of conflicted with two different forces here. I think the big money wants to pump this eventually, sometime in early 2025. I just don't know when. And the traders are going to want to take profits at a certain resistance level, which we're getting pretty close to. So at this point, like, it depends on what you want to do in terms of like playing time frame wise. To me, I feel that I feel like there's something big that's happening around like Q1, or even like Q2 2025. So I'm not gonna just necessarily sell and buy back. I'm gonna slow down my buys, right? And but I already have a position. I'm happy. I think I've got like a cost average around like 30, 31. I'm okay with it. And if it dumps all the way back to like 25, 26, I think I'll just end up buying more, because that would be like a little bit of a higher low. So I would end up buying more. But I just have a hard time seeing that go down that much further.
Yeah, I don't think it's definitely built up a lot of strength over all this time. You look, it never went lower than this 11.4% retrace from this 995 low to the spike up to that. I had a live stream when it went to 64.83 that very afternoon that I did that. And so where the conversion, this monthly conversion and baselines have glued themselves together is right here at the 50% mark, between that high of 64.83 and the low it had started from at 995 just beforehand. So I just wrote this little note: 50% larger level, $37.39 resistance, just as you were talking about. Now and then, I was going to put another note that once it can get over the 786, 309. Then it'll probably want to run above this. But first it's got to, it'll probably test up to it, come back down to the 50 maybe. So yeah, you could trade for 53 back to 37. And then once it gets over 53 and builds a base, then it can run up to maybe my next level above. And then what I want to do is also pull the same retracement now that I've made those notes down to this wick right here, where this high was $48 even. So let's just adjust this to 48. And now, where these monthly Ichimoku baseline convergence lines are stuck together, it's just over the 70.2%, under the 786. And maybe I'll pull this in as well. Let's just take a look at, from here to here. So yeah, if it from 100% up here at 48 back to the, where are you? Did I miss it? No, that's right. To 1873. gives us a 6-1, like a, wait, I'm going to just draw it from here. 382, 236, 618. And look, it's already kind of done. Well, it did more than 382. Back to the 236. And now it wants to go 618. So yeah, I think 682 is where it wants to go to next. Maybe this 3773, that 50% level. And then it'll have to do like a little consolidation, maybe back, turn this, now we take that and pull it down and say, okay, at that point in time, that'll be the high. And then it'll be retracing back this way. But if it could stay over 33.4, then it could go higher. If not, maybe this 50% level, 28.15. So now I'm like building a little, where's my, I like this arrow. So from here, no, I don't like the arrow for this. I love doing these little narrative things. So to there, and then, so then maybe it goes back to the 50%. And then it kind of goes above, below, test back, but then after it gets over the 78.6, then maybe it can go towards BATS 141. You can see where the sell order block's already set up here.
Yeah, there's a big giant sell order block there. I can't ignore it. I guess it could have been set up from back in when it pumped, back then a few months ago, but I just don't know whether or not it's still active or not. It's just a lot of confluence of resistance there. I'm just gonna, exercise caution. But regardless, I still think that the trend is turning to be very, very positive in terms of like the monthly trend. I think it's gonna go up a lot higher probably. It's just whether or not you want to play the short game or long game. Because sometimes these things, that whenever it happens, it gets really impulsive. All it takes is just like 2 or 3 or 4 months, and the next thing you know, it's just a lot higher, right? And then if you're trying to sell at 35, 36, and if it ends up going back down to 25, 26, great. That's a great trade. But if you but if it doesn't end up doing that, if it ends up just kind of push a lot higher, then you might miss like D move. There's always that risk too. So it's hard.
CLDI just crossed 119. I don't think that's the good
also like your call out boxes. It's like so 90s MTV.
I know, right? Pop-up video. I love pop-up video.
Yeah, that's what that reminds me of.
Yeah, so I think you're right. Maybe I'll look at taking half off the table at 37.57, before 37.57, and see if there's an opportunity to rebuy GME down here. So let me put an alert around here. I already have one. Actually, now I have 2 alerts there. I feel like I've got an alert down here. Maybe I'm going to move it up to the 50% is down here because there was some pre-market action that I hadn't gotten, that I didn't see on the weekly chart. So my 50% level is now 27.57. So we'll call this resistance, and we'll call this support ?
Yeah, it's interesting. The market just opened, and then it looks like they're dumping IWM like crazy, but Bitcoin's actually holding up pretty well.
Bitcoin's great.
Yeah, maybe I jinxed it. I don't know.
I think Bitcoin had bottomed at 91,215. You can see everyone wants to buy again here, and they want to sell 236 because they know it's probably going to go 382, 236, 618, and then it'll get a lower high than this. Consolidate again, maybe, unless it goes faster. Thanks, sweetheart. She's brought me some oatmeal. And then we get that 786 test there. Maybe. Yeah. Again, so with Bitcoin, I just want to see it get over 104,694 because that is that magical. I love that thing that you came up with. When did you and Matt? Where did you figure that out? The 786 level of retrace.
I think Matt's always been one that like has really been paying attention at that particular level, and it just seems like from his experience and also from what he's been seeing over the years, and also what he read about, it just seems like it's a very important level that once it gets through, like usually you have some kind of escape velocity, which makes sense. You know, they're always trying to scare you just a little tiny bit underneath the previous high, and then when you break through, then it's just, you know, the momentum is going to keep going to the upside usually. So
Yeah, I feel like that's it. It's like it's kind of like your. Let me just flip it over for a second. So we're going the other way. So from the bottom here, and it wants to go 382, 236. It's like for a standard retrace, you get that, and then it's in a short-term downtrend. But if it can break higher, it's funny how it did it twice here too. Like before, we're unlock. Before we only had this tab, and I went to the 618, and then got rejected by the 618, and back down we go, and it went all the way back to get a double bottom. Bitcoin did. We're still talking about Bitcoin here. It's a slightly lower bottom, so it restarts the cycle. So yeah, now maybe this time it goes to the 786, which sort of tells us, oh, it's like ready. So maybe like 50, 55 to 382 to 786, and then one more liquidity grab like this, maybe a double bottom at 382, and then it can break out. I'm just looking for Bitcoin to break out because my big thing is MSTX, and I think this whole chart from the beginning of time. Well, actually, I started at 1512 to the all-time high we got here at 224.96, and then back to where we are now. That is a big giant 1-2. So I'm looking for my wave 3 to take us all the way to 293, and that's great because my cost basis is now, I think it's like, I want to say it's 60. It's crazy. My cost basis was like pretty good. Yeah, well, MSTX, they paid a giant one-time dividend at the end of the year, and it kicked in my share as shares before the market opened and price ran up again. So it drastically reduced my cost basis, that one-time dividend payment.
Did you have it on for reinvestment or whatever, or did it just automatically just give you shares?
No, I set. Everyone else gave cash. I'm on set to always reinvest. So that's what I got. I got an as share before the market opened, and then it ran up higher, and then I just missed my chance to. Let's see, 4-hour chart. Let's go to 8-hour chart. Yeah, I missed my chance to. I should have taken some profit up here, but I didn't. I said, "Oh wow, it's just going to keep going." No, it didn't keep going. But it's formed a higher high and a higher low, and I'm just waiting for it to, get me back into the green. And then maybe if this 107 comes true, then I'll take some profit, but not get out completely because what if it keeps running? So take half off, then buy back here in this B wave, which I don't know if it'll be this one or if we're going to revisit this $84, $83 zone twice. Yeah, it's probably going to revisit it twice. So I'm thinking, sell at 107. Buy back before 80, sell before 164, maybe 150 if it does an AC up to here. My 618 takes us to 163.77. This ABC takes us to 152.05. So maybe before 152, I'll sell half again, let half of it ride higher. If it stops at 163.70 and comes back down, I could sell the rest. Or, well, no, don't do that. I'll let it ride and reduce my cost average again by buying before 83.61. And then maybe from 83.61, I'll just let it ride and stop trying to, don't trade in and out of the heart of the third wave, because the heart of the third wave is the longest, strongest. Maybe we could talk about that a little bit too. Feel free to jump in anytime you want. I'm just gonna pull.
No, I'm just listening in. I'm trying to multitask here at the same time too. I'm trying to put my DCA orders in right now for the week.
Oh.
I think this is a great time to do it.
Let's see, canvas, turn off this watermark. Let's turn off these labels. I'm just gonna get a blank canvas here. Let's turn off all this. All right, so, nope, why is the watermark still here? That's not a blank canvas. There we go. Get you out of the way. Here, we'll go back this way. So I gotta turn off volume. All right, so a little course on Elliott wave theory. The universe go in 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, because you have a wave start and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 3 impulsive waves that go forward with 2 contracting waves that pull backwards. So essentially it's going 3 steps forward on the 1, 3, and 5, and 2 steps backwards in the A, B, C. So the B wave is the counter wave that actually goes up from the A wave, but the A and C waves are your 2 steps back. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. And typically, the ratios that these move at, there are several different ways that they go. Oh, let me turn it off. Let's see. From a wave start anywhere, let's just do $100. That makes it nice. And let's say it goes to 150 and then back to 125. We're just going to use some nice even numbers so that they so you can see how the ratios look with real dollars. So 100, 150, 125. I think that'll be good. And so you can see that. Let me just get rid of these for a minute. I'll come back to this. So if we started with price at $100 and it ran up to 150 and back to 125, a 100% extension of that is this whole move from 100 to 150 is $50. It pulls back to 125, and if you add $50 on top of this retracement back to the wave 2, because this is 1, 2, and this is your wave start. Then you stack that, and then you get 100% of that move extended from the wave 2 bottom is 175, because you just added $50 to $25, $50 here to $25 there, takes to 175. So a typical, once you have a wave start and you've identified the larger degree wave 1, larger degree wave 2, you can then, I can then do a Elliott wave pinball, where I go with my 1 through 5. Now, really the way it is, it goes, that's your 1, that's your 2, your 3 is up here, your 4 is here, and then your 5 goes to 2, 3, 2. This is the pattern that I've seen the market take with, I don't know, 70% of the stocks that are bullish. They follow this pattern. The other, like 29%, 25%, they do same thing, same 1, 2, but they'll just go to 123.6, back to 764, and then up to 2236. And I'm starting to get a handle on what makes these different, and it has to do with where I pick the wave start. But I'm not going to get into that right now. Let's just say, so this is the most common pattern. Now, when I draw these things on the, let me just make this the super cycle, grand super cycle, yeah. So here's your larger degrees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the whole thing, and then after that, you get an ABC correction. And what I do is I take a retracement and I go from this 244.10 top, and I pull back onto the wave 2 bottom right here at 125, because the whole thing has to grow. I can't take it back to the wave start because that's not growth. That's just the whole thing collapsing. If it's a growth stock, then you want to chart a growth pattern. So they're on the right side. Let's move these to the, don't extend, put them on the right. All right, and then I'll just pull this to a little bit out. It should be 244.10. I love to be exact to the penny, because when it works out, it's so crazy good. You're like, oh my God, he nailed it. Because I do. Sometimes these charts will fulfill, and I'm looking for 1.5, and I'll hit 124.99, and it's just, it is super impressive when it all comes true. And so based off of that, now we look for an ABC retracement, two step back. It typically goes 382, 236, 618. I'm sorry, my phone's making all this noise. Let me.
I bet a lot of people are freaking out right now with price just been going down, down, down for a very, very long time.
Now we're having like three red sessions in a row, and it just feels absolutely terrifying. And so that's why I don't want to do a hand-holding show, because I already did 2 of those. There's no point in doing a third hand-holding show. At this point, either you believe me or you don't believe me.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if you're watching this show, if you're hearing my voice right now, you believe me, and maybe you're out of cash to buy. If you've got some more cash, DCA some more. If you're out of cash, just hang out with me. I'm out of cash, so I'm doing this show. I'm doing this show today. I got nothing left to buy with. I just have to wait.
Yeah, well, I do have a paycheck, so like, I still work most of the time, and I'm still checking my emails for my work and all that. But I think the key thing is it's good to have some kind of ongoing income. So as long as your expenses are less than what you're making, or if you end up having like a separate basket of money where you're like making dividends or whatever, like you always have some cash. It's always like psychologically healthier, which is why like trackers trying to raise cash occasionally. That's probably the way to go if you're going to trade in and out of this market. But yeah, I mean, I think that the thing is also not about like being scared. It's not about like even holding hands. It's about identifying opportunities.
Exactly.
It's all about identifying opportunities, and right now I see a lot of opportunities. I honestly think if you end up buying like Palantir today, it's gonna work out pretty well. Not financial advice, but I'm just kind of seeing. I'm like, I think I see what they're trying to do. I can't be sure. None of us can really be sure, but like I think I see what they're trying to do. But at a certain point, you just have to identify opportunities and just go for it. You could be wrong; it's completely fine. But it's good while we're doing it to learn about the theories behind things, and to learn about what could happen, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, we use it as a learning opportunity. But yeah, I'm not scared about any of this price action today. Matter of fact, like going down is actually just like your Elliot waves, right? Like the whole psychology of Elliot waves is that whenever wave 1 happens, it's starting to change a trend, and then nobody believes it, and then wave 2 happens. Those non-believers got validated, and they're like, ha, you think that things are going to go bullish, it's going to go a lot higher. Let the market show you, like, it's still a downtrend, and then wave 2 is just a higher low, but then the sentiment is like absolutely horrible, which is actually where I think a lot of the stocks are at right now. And then you have the wave 3, which is just going to blow everybody away, psychologically speaking, when people don't think it's possible because they're so traumatized from what had happened from the previous ABC correction that they can't even think bullish anymore. And that's how they turn around on you, and that's how they get bullish on you, and they get bullish for longer than you would expect, just to screw with you. And the next thing you know, by the end of wave 3, you're convinced. Then wave 4, everybody buys the dip, and then they try to convince you that things are going to go up a lot higher. They give you a wave 5, but then that they just end up being exit liquidity on the way up to wave 5. So that's human psychology for you, and you can correspond to all these different levels. They generally do follow the Fibonacci, retracement extensions. On the way up, on the way down, they generally follow that. There are certain rules if you want to learn more about that. Trekker has gone through a lot of education on these kinds of things, and he's a great follow. If you don't follow him on X already, do so, because we do live streams. He's one of our collaborators. Always like to learn about his thoughts. He's got like a little subscription for on X. It's only $2 if you want to see what he's doing
I
on
want to make
regular.
it super accessible to anybody. I wanted, if you only have $100 to trade with, I'm not asking for a lot of money for you to get some what I think is exceptional technical analysis.
Yeah. I think you do great work, and we always try to find confluence. We always try to talk on almost like a daily basis, and I think we more or less see very similar things. Sometimes we see different things and we talk about it, but overall, I do believe in Elliott wave theory. I do believe in that. It's just sometimes it's just hard to just see a trend based on just Elliott wave alone. Just like it's hard to see trend just based on just one indicator, any indicator really. So we work together, but the whole idea about the psychology of Elliott wave is like absolutely fascinating. So,
it really is.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to say my piece and advertise you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it really is about, and it's funny, we talk about psychology like it's something that is unique to humans, but I believe it's more like that we're just part of nature, and these are rules in nature. And so even the way our brains function are in harmony and accordance to the laws of nature.
It is true. That's how they mess with you, and it shows. I mean, like the whole idea about Elliott wave is trying to mess with you while things continue to go up.
Yeah. In martial arts, I've talked about this. I bring it up too sometimes. Aikido's. I've taken Taekwondo, karate, kung fu, kendo, aikido, jiu-jitsu. Aikido is the best one. Aikido has this magic that it makes it, when you do it right, it's just effortless, because it taps into, I think, human physiology and the reactions of the nervous system of a human. And what Aikido does really well is when you're coming in with a directed force, the most effortless way to deal with a force coming in, obviously just step out of the way. And that's usually the first thing you do in Aikido, or just the tiniest bit of force to redirect. If you can't step out of the way fast enough, you just redirect it a little bit just so it's not coming at you anymore. And then once you've redirected energy, or the person is over committed and you're not there anymore, they're going to try to correct back towards you. And what you do is you take that energy and you turn their correction energy into overcorrection by pulling them towards the direction that they're trying to come back at you at. But now, not only have they overcorrected, but with a very little effort, you are taking them in a whole new direction they did not plan on going in. And there's even this extra level of magic to it, which is once they've lost their balance and they're being pulled past where they're aiming and past where they're trying to correct to, you relent just a moment to let them feel like they're gaining their balance again, but you don't let them get it. And then you pull them again in the same direction that you were pulling them in the first way. And so now they're stuck between two waveforms that they cannot hope to adapt to anymore. And so with that second pulse, you really there's no way for them to recover. And that's how you can throw them, pin them, drop them, whatever it is that you were trying to do, whatever your body has decided that you want to do with it, because you don't even think in Aikido. It just becomes, you practice it so much, it just becomes second nature. The reason I talk about all this is because the market likes to do the same thing. And you see me talk about these tracker triangles again and again and again. So like here's, say here's price coming in. What do I want to use? I want to use this one. Here's price coming, ignore my waves here. And what I see is ultimately it wants to do this. It's a continuation triangle. These bullish triangles, price action in the market just wants to slow things down a bit. They don't want to let one's options expire in the money. So they force this pressure, this downward pressure, but eventually they just have to let it go and let it continue. But what they do actually inside of these triangles, this is what you kind of see. Let's see, dashed line. But then this is what you actually get. Same one, same path. So it starts off, oh, wait, except I want to make this solid. Okay. So it starts off here, just like the dashed line. You get this strong trend and then a rejection, and then to get a converging resistance trend with a support trend that's rising up to meet it, you have to make a lower high followed by a higher low. But what it does is usually it'll go up, it'll come down a little bit, it'll go up again just to mess with you a little bit.
I know what you wanted to say. Thanks for not saying it.
It starts to go up a little bit, and then it takes you down again. And then finally you get a breakup. Or sometimes, actually, I'm sorry, I did that. I'm a little ahead of that. No, what it will do. Let me get rid of that thing. Sorry, it sets the trend first. So you actually do get this, you do get that, you do get this, and you do get that. So now you have 2 points that form a trend on the top and 2 points that form a trend on the bottom. And then here it messes with you. It pushes it up and it tests back and it pushes up a little higher, but then it runs back again. It makes a slightly higher high and a slightly lower low than the trend would expect. And then that's when they really want to mess with you. This is when they do that. They do the extra Aikido-like pulse. And so the triangle becomes this one, and then it looks like it's going to break out, and they buy again, and then it sells off, and then they just get all this liquidity down here. And then when it drops below this trend line, they're like, oh, well, the triangle is going to exit to the bottom side, and they start to sell off. And then, nope, they run it back up again. Okay, wait, I'll buy some more, and they run it even lower. I'm sorry my triangle is so small on the screen, I'm just realizing. It's not probably easy for everyone to see what I'm talking about, but
no, it's perfect. I mean, I think it's pretty clear. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear.
And then the same thing, even without a triangle. Let's just get rid of all this now. Same idea. When you have, I drew this hyperbolic wave here, curve, because I've noticed that price does like to go from the wave 2 bottom through sort of a hyperbola, and inside this, what you'll see oftentimes is you'll get a minor degree 1. Let's see, like, you know how things seem to build a long base before they really start to run? It's because they're kind of doing. Do I want to use this one? They're kind of doing this. They get a higher high and then a higher low, but it stays along this parabola, and then it starts to really rocket up, and it comes back down again. And then, so in the meantime, this wave 3 kind of comes out. You'll see it keep trying to hit along this parabola, and what I can do is, on a real price action, as that price starts to push out, I can kind of start to project where I think the wave 5 is going to hit. Because it does, it just kind of goes faster and faster into this melt up of the wave 5. And the point I was trying to say here is what I've noticed is, since it's asymmetric, where the minor degree 1, 2 falls in before it does 3, 4, is part of why you get this idea of the Elliott wave, the theory of alternation. You hear me talk about it all the time. if the wave 2 is longer, the wave 4 is going to be shorter. But if the wave 2 is shorter, then the wave 4 is going to be longer. It's really funny how this works out, but that it's to do with this hyperbola, I think.
There's a lot of like Sofi was going through an extremely long wave 2 before it busted out to wave 3 right now, you know. The if you look at the higher time frame stuff, that's like one example where I think that, and I'm not even sure right now if we're experiencing wave 4 or is it just like wave 1 of 3, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like I just feel like the entire second half 2023 to like 2024 is all wave 2, and that's a pretty long wave 2. That's a very, very long wave 2.
Right, just like that.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I think we're at wave 3. I just don't know whether or not like this is like wave 1 of 3, you know, or is it because it could keep on going for a lot higher? I don't know, or is it just like wave 4 that we're experiencing? I feel that it's probably just like a subwave of wave 3, because usually things go on pretty parabolic in wave 3 for like longer than a lot of people would expect. So
the other thing that I've noticed about Elliott wave theory is it's people don't like it because it feels subjective. There's a sort of a certain art to it, and I found that that's true, and it kind of doesn't matter sometimes in some ways, because it's all what's the word? Because it's all fractal. It doesn't always necessarily matter what you pick, as long as you take it out to its ultimate conclusion. And in fact, what's happening here, it's a series of overlapping Elliott waves that make the overall price action. And I don't just mean that because there's 5 waves from here to here, like that. Like you could count that as 5 waves. Let me just change this.
Yeah. That'll be a really long way for. And this whole thing, if that's the case, then you're talking about you might have a strong correction coming if that's how you're counting it, you know.
Right, but I don't see it that way. I mean, it's one way to look at it. Or you know what I should have said? I should have just been saying that these, like, inside of this wave 1, there's 5 subwaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But look, the wave 4 goes lower than the wave 1, so it makes it a diagonal. And this is what they call a leading diagonal. The wave 1 is made up of a diagonal pattern that stops short. Like, you know, if I put fibs on this, it only made it as, sorry, not, mine's right. And pull this, nope, not that one. I'll pull this out. So this one didn't make it past the 200% extension. It only made it like, I don't know, 1.88 or something like that. 1.886. Didn't even make it to 1.886. 1786. Yeah, nailed it. 1786. So it just made it to that, to the wave 5, and then it collapsed into the wave, this long wave 2. All right, let's look at some other. No, I want to keep those ones.
I like how you're taking your time to really like doing Sofi in real life.
let's just get into this. So from this low to this high, there's 100%, and look where that 886 comes across here. Right? Did I get that right? Wait, I gotta make this high. So 1170 high. Yeah, I almost got it. So look here, it dropped down to not quite the 23.6, ran back up, couldn't get over the 886, or no, I'm sorry, it did. It hinted at the 786 is the one we're looking for. Let me change this to, I really like turning the 786 blue now. So yeah, it hinted at the 786, then went back to test more. Ooh, it didn't hold this. Went all the way back to the 23.6 fib 601 right here. $6, what this would have predicted, hit that exactly. Then once it could get over the 786, we'd have to get closer. What day is that? October 21st. Here's October 21st. So yeah, it oscillated. It went right over that 786 blue line, under it, over it, tested back to it. And then, oh, look, they did one more big liquidity grab. Look at that trick. That was a nasty day for SoFi. But still, higher highs, higher lows. And now it established, and now it started looking at the Elliot wave extensions here, where it tested back to the 618. And once it get over the 764, it could keep going higher. Let's go back to the weekly chart looking at. All right, let's just take this out. Retracement.
So anyway, the liquidity grab today, like I'm not seeing any volume here today at all on this drop today. Anyway, yeah, keep going.
So if I take 424 is the low, and that is 424. So here's the wave start, wave 1, wave 2. Then the 1382 is where my wave 3 tops out with a test back to the 100% for wave 4. So off the bottom, it wants to go 764, 382, and 764, 382, 1382, 100%, and then 2382. It's just how long we have to wait for this fifth wave. And then it goes so fast. It goes so fast. So let's go. Let me bring this down to a daily chart so you can see the turns a little bit better. Right. Oh, man. See, this one didn't quite get to the 764. It went back to the 50% level. I really would have wanted to see it hit this first. Do it. It's kind of like it was done with a 382. 100% obviously would be a new higher high. SoFi basically once it tested back to the 50% level and didn't go any lower, it didn't close that gap, and it gapped up to that 100% level. Right here, it gapped up, and it never went back for that gap either. And it's probably still not going to go back for that gap. I think it wants to come to 1347 next. There's not even a gap there. This price was sort of important. Maybe it could run it down to $13. But somewhere between $13.47 and $13, I predict that'll be support for SoFi, and then it should run up to $23.78 next.
Yeah,
that's what I see here, based off this.
That's fair.
Bottom.
Yeah,
and it was a really long two, so the wave 4 will be shorter. And so let's see if I bring this hyperbolic tool, which I love using. I'm going to include this sub 2. Well, that makes it really. No, I'm not going to include that. The wave 4's got to be. Oh, well, see, this wave 2 is short. In fact, infinitesimally so, in that it didn't even really happen.
So that's why wave 4 right now is a little bit longer. Yeah.
So wave 4 is going to be longer.
Yeah.
But whenever it finishes it, the wave 5 is going to be really fast. Is what I would predict.
Yeah.
So, and really, that's the 3 right there. I don't know. It could. These are days. That's July. I just have this sense that July is when we're going to get the next big high, because a lot of my charts kind of seem to keep going up in July. I don't think that's my bias picking July over and over again. That's a bunch of charts. Let's just pick one at random. How about DXYZ? No, that one's not good. Oh no, what's DXYZ doing? 1, 2. See, I'm starting to think that all of this might just be a big 1, 2. Or I guess that wave 2 is really short. This wave 4 is really long. Yeah, DXYZ just needs another SpaceX rocket launch though, with a rocket catch. Pick something else.
Yeah, it's pretty hype driven
So
so
here's
far.
one.
Yeah.
Here's one. If I go from the wave start through the wave 2, and then to my 2236 target, this parabola. Oh, this is March 24th. All right, well, that's not one of the July ones. I don't know. I maybe Tesla. I have the sense that July is going to be. That's why I've got my $711 target in July. This parabola right here is. And kind of following on higher time frames, I try to follow the moving average 75 more than I follow these price points. Yeah, I'm starting to worry that maybe my $711 target isn't going to hit in July. I would like it to. That was if it got to July. Maybe it's going to have to wait a little bit because of that. Now this parabola says March of 2026 now. Nah, we'll see. It could still do it. Because this was really fast. This should be really fast too. I really do see what's happening next with Tesla as a fractal of this. I don't think it's done. I think where price is right now, or where price got to at this 488.54 high. I think it's just about here on this move up. So we're essentially the same as what 323 was before it hit. How much higher is that? It's another 42% higher.
It's really hard for me to chart DXYZ at this moment. It's just tough.
Oh yeah, DXYZ. It's a really long consolidation set here. Oh, it made a lower low than.
Yeah, I can see it go all the way back down to like 47, 48, like to back test that zone of the breakout. I can totally see it potentially doing that. It looks like it's starting to want to do that to back test that area.
It's got these buy orders waiting down here.
Yeah.
Let's do a retracement from the high that we did get, 77.25, back to. I think I'm just going to take it down to 10.55. Oh, look, we're at the 382. Let's see. Let me move this to the right side. Wish there was a quicker button to move labels left and right than having to go down in here and do it. So yeah, look, ABC. 382, that's more than 236. And then 618 would take us down to $36.19 if it did that. But if it wanted to stay really bullish, it seems like 44 should hold up the 50% retrace. Like it already kind of made all the support noise right here around $44. So why wouldn't it hold $44 again? What I really want to see is it not make a lower low than 51.15. Yeah, if it doesn't lower low than this, what I was calling the wave 4 earlier, then the whole thing is just an extended wave 4. This wave 2 is very short. This wave, I saw them stacking Starship on top of a new super heavy booster, prepping for something. I don't know what the launch schedule is. they need to do rocket launch soon. AB, it's not really an ABC anymore. I mean, if it came lower to $44, that'd be an ABC or the 618. Yeah, because my larger Elliott wave pattern, the one I was looking for that goes up to 114.61, we got the wave 3 top of the 123.6. The 764 should have held, and I was really optimistic when it held here. And even when it wicked down here, I mean, I suppose if it wicks down here and then we close the day back above 56.80, then it's still not terrible. It still could be saved. Because it really should have just done this is 50%, 236, 1236, 764 is where it should hold in order to get to the 223.6, 114.61. So let's just see. I guess we'll see if this is just a bad wick today and it rebounds or not. Let's take a look at the VIX. I see it's crossing 2029. There's the weekly Ichimoku conversion line for the VIX up here, just a little higher at 2051. Maybe, let's see, how many hours in the week left? Friday, 4 p.m. Whoops, right. No, it's not gonna let me do it on this 1 hour chart because we're at 4 to 10. Anyway, yeah, we got this much longer for the day. Can the VIX jump back down? I was drawing that trend. Let's do a smaller triangle.
Yeah, there are people who are requesting charts. I'm sorry, we're not gonna do that kind of show today. I do have a live stream that I'm planning on doing tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern and do like chart requests and things like that for my members. I think we're just kind of hanging out here for today. So if Tracker wants to do any requests, feel free. But yeah, but I think we're probably gonna just kind of let Tracker run the show here a little bit.
We're just sort of exploring Elliott wave, what everything I've been putting together over the last 7 months that I've hung out with you guys. And
yeah.
Oh man, what a great 7 months!
Yeah, because I'm definitely going to talk about IWM for sure tomorrow on my stream, and I think Nicholas had requested SPIR. I'm gonna look into that maybe a little bit later. So.
All right. Well, let's see. So as far as DXYZ goes, it needs a stick save. I was just saying, whoops, it needs to get back over 5680 lickety split. Otherwise, it does look like it's going to want to go into, where did it go? Daily chart? Or 8-hour chart? Yeah, it needs to turn this into a wick and get back above 5680. Otherwise, without support there, you can see it did just go to the bottom of this cloud on the 8-hour chart. And at 38.2% again. Below 38.2% fib, and then we're looking at exploring the 50% or 61.8% retrace. Somewhere in here. And optimistically, I like to see it bounce. If it does that, I like to see it bounce off the 50% fib. That's kind of like, that's the bad target box. The good story is if it get back over the moving average 75 here on the 8-hour chart, turn this into a wick and close the week over 5680. I guess that's all I can say about DXYZ right now. ACHR, same deal. It's so far, it hasn't made a new lower low than this subwave 2. It's in the right place, isn't it? 4-hour. Oh no, it did. It made a slightly. It just put. It's just slightly lower. So it's kind of like a failed start to this wave 3 and falls all the way back over. And now it's a super long wave 2. So now this wants to do that. I gotta pull this out farther. And then the wave 4 test back. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. Still the same price targets. It's just moving it out a lot farther in time. Yeah. Maybe not that much farther out in time. Again, I like to just kind of take this hyperbola and kind of ride out the price action this way. Oh, look, there's the top of that cloud right there.
Do you do this on your morning show to like just kind of, you know, like in detail work out all these charts for people?
No, I kind of do this in private when I'm on my my spreadsheet and I'm updating these charts.
Yeah.
All my charts look like this with this hyperbola, and then I show where price. Where price is right now with one of these arrows, and then I go to where my target is, and I tell them, well, you know, my expectation for the wave 5 top is 97% higher. This is the way I compare all the. I come up with a score for my charts because I want to put the best ranked ones should go the highest, the fastest. So I measure time with the hyperbola, and then percent gain remaining from where price is now to the top of my wave 5. And so they just compete. They race each other that way on my spreadsheet.
That's all you're saying when you're working on your spreadsheet. You're trying to rank them using the factors.
Exactly. This is how I rank them. I say, oh well, ACHR is you know, and it's got a score based on a bunch of different factors, but what weighs the most heavily is percent gain and then over time. Then after that, what weighs slightly less. Well, actually, no, it's still actually really important. Then a big one is what was the weekly MCDX plus score for the last week.
Yeah,
ACHR. There we go. So 68% was last week's score. I guess it's the current week's score. So it gets multiplied by how high it's going to go. Faster is shorter, so it's the inverse of the left, and times the MCDX score, and then all of that gets multiplied by some other stuff having to do with size of market cap and volatility, and its weekly average volatility versus historic annual volatility. I can't remember exactly how I did it, but those scores are pretty small. That's like if two stocks are close to each other, then I'm weighing more heavily in favor, has a bigger market cap and less volatility, I think, is the way the formula worked out. It's a funky formula, but I'm going with it for now because it seems to be working. The big thing is just keeping up with the charts and the timing. Yeah. And of course, charts break or do something weird. So back to the 8-hour chart, ACHR.
I probably gotta run here pretty soon.
Okay. Is there anything that you want to talk about?
We got to hang out for like an hour. That was good. Yeah, because I think I just wanted to make sure I didn't drop the ball or anything. But the whole Elliot wave thing, it's very good about giving a precise measurement. I actually like the combination of like thinking Elliot waves using Bollinger Bands. You know, I don't know. Yeah, like if you do like the Bollinger Band, like wave 1 is kind of when you have the initial contraction of the band where things are stabilizing and you're about to have a reverse in trend, and you need that first impulse to push price higher, to really change the trend, right? Like it changes the basis line from negative sloping to positive sloping. And then wave 2 is almost usually it's like a back test of the basis line. And then wave 3 is when the real Bollinger expansion and the real uptrend is starting. So and then wave 4 is like the opposite, So I actually think that it's it works out very well with a lot of things that I look at, especially when it comes to cycles. It's just that the Bollinger Band allows me to actually see it more in like real life and see how it stretches and expands. Whereas
so use the Bollinger.
Yeah,
the Bollinger Band helps you with the timing a bit more.
It does help you with timing a lot. Yeah.
Here's what he was just talking about. Let me get rid of these smaller subwaves. But right here, this is my wave 1 and wave 2. And look what the wave 1 did. Price was right in the top of the Bollinger Band. It breaks way out, and as Kat likes to say, it got punished for going too far outside the Bollinger Band. Wave 2 comes back and doesn't even touch on this 8-hour chart. Doesn't quite touch the center trend line of the Bollinger Band here in red. Starts to make his way back to the top of the Bollinger Band. Test down. Can't quite get out of the Bollinger Band, but is supported by the center. And when it does start to push out of the Bollinger Band again, that's because it's wave 3.
Yeah.
And then wave 4, it comes back and crosses. This wave 4 crossed through the center of the Bollinger Band and tested the bottom of it. And now we've been bottom testing, and now we're actually DXYZ is right now in this very moment pushing right to the extent it wicked below that Bollinger Band. And also see how it met it with my moving average 75 on the 8-hour chart.
Yeah.
Finally.
Which is why I think we're getting
over the moving average.
Yeah, which is why I think when we're getting closer and closer to maybe like the moment of opportunity, maybe not quite just yet, because it can still stretch the Bollinger Band further down, but usually when I see things are like just touching low Bollinger Band, unless it's like higher time frame bear trend, right? Then don't worry about that. Then I'm not gonna touch it. But if it's like higher time frame, if it still looks bullish, if a lower time frame it looks like it's touching the low Bollinger Band, then it does make you wonder, hey, this could be an opportunity here, at least to trade, because generally things like to retrace back to the mean. So.
Yeah. Look at this. DXYZ it's not old enough to use the monthly logarithmic Bollinger, but on the weekly it does have that. Look, the Bollinger Band's way down here on the weekly logarithmic chart.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still bullish overall, but I don't know how far down it's going to go.
Right.
Yeah, I still think that it probably touched like the $47, $48 zone, but yeah, it's what it's. But yeah, tracker gonna run.
Okay.
Enjoyable as always.
I know. I love hanging out with you, Kat.
Yeah. I think we're gonna take more opportunities whenever we can to talk more like we do, and I'm gonna sign off here. I don't know whether or not like YouTube's gonna cut off here. I don't know, but
sure, no worries.
Yeah,
I'll let you go. And for everybody else, I'm gonna keep the show going a little longer. I'll take a look at the requests and look for things that don't smack of desperation.
Yeah, if you guys want to keep watching the show, go to X. He's live on X right now, so just go to X and then watch the show. And I'm sure you're gonna go through a few other tickers too. So
I'll go for like another hour, I think, and then
another hour.
I know, right? Trying to give everyone their money.
Yeah, you're powerful guy. You're a powerful guy. All right, man. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Yep.
Bye, Kat. All right. So, do look out for Kat is going to have another show, or he'll do like a live impromptu thing. I think he said tomorrow he's going to go over some charts. So you can look forward to that on his YouTube channel as well. All right, DXYZ on the 4-hour chart. Wick down here, but back to the Bollinger Band. And just one more time to recap, I would like to see it close the week and the day above 56.80 to preserve my 76.4 fib. Let me just put an alert right there. If it gets above 2 alerts, really. And if it goes below 5182, that's bad, because then that means it would go down to somewhere between either 44 or 36. And Kat was talking about 37 down here. Look, the daily Ichimoku cloud has a bottom down here near $44. All right, okay. Let's do requests. I'm going to go to the chat channel. Thank you guys for joining me this morning. All right. Just reading through here. Good morning, meow, meow, meow. Dong, 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 casino open. I know, right? What do I put in my oatmeal? Let's see. It is rolled oats. They're organic rolled oats because I don't like Monsanto stuff sprayed on my oats. They not only do they spray it to keep the weeds from growing on the growing oats, but then they spray it a second time on the dried oats. They call it a drying process. They use it as a drying agent. So they put even more bug and weed killer on it, and then that's what Quaker Oats serves you. And I won't eat that stuff. So I use organic rolled oats. They're already cooked, and all you're doing is rehydrating them, basically. And I like an omega-3 fatty acid fruit and nut mix. That's pretty much what I put in oatmeal. And I also like dates a lot. They're super sweet. So that's it. I don't put added sugar. All the fruit is enough sugar. Let's see. Why so bullish on MSTX? Asks SLLAYZ. Let me just tell you that I believe in Michael Saylor's vision. So let's look at Bitcoin. Everything's based on Bitcoin. Let's look at Bitcoin on the weekly chart. And basically, I think you've seen lots of versions of this where Bitcoin, it was worth, in the beginning, like hardly anything, maybe $100. And then it runs up to $20,000, but then falls all the way back down to $3,000 again. And people are like, oh, Bitcoin's over, right? It's just going back to zero. It did not go back to zero. It built a long base right around 8,000. And then it jumps up to 63,000. And then it falls back to 25,000. And we're like, oh, Bitcoin's over. It's going to zero. It did not go to zero. It pushed even higher to 68,000 and then fell all the way over. And this was the long Bitcoin winter. And it definitely felt like it was over. But you know what? It found support at 15,479 and didn't go back to zero. It didn't go back to 12,000 or 4,000 or 100. It held 15,000, and then it went higher, built a base around 30,000 to $25,000 range, and it moves up another level to now to 41,000. And it didn't even stay that very long. Wicks up to 50,000, back down to 38,000, and then runs up in an epic run up. And now we're talking about, my thing is in the way. Now we're in 2024, and that was in March of 2024. It ran up to 70,000 and then consolidated again. And it consolidates down to 50,000, which is basically testing this previous high right here. This wick had a high of 49,048. This wick had a low of 49,577. And so it didn't break below that. That became its ultimate support. And so basically you saw it do a sort of a Darvis box between 73,000 and 50,000. And then it breaks out again. And then now we're talking December 16th, where it hit its all-time high of 108,364. And then, and now is it going to zero? Is Bitcoin done? No, even more countries and institutions and rich people and just, everyday people like you and me are buying Bitcoin. It's getting even more adoption. So, at worst, absolute worst, it might drop down to 72,000 again, just to test this high as the ultimate support. Doesn't have to, though. We are below the weekly conversion line on Ichimoku Cloud here. It's up at 94,000. We're down at 93,000. It wicked down a little bit, but hasn't closed any candlesticks, any weekly candlesticks yet below. And this one hasn't closed yet, but last week it closed at 93,600. So I'd say if this week closes above 93,600, that's looking pretty good for it to keep going higher. And, it's just what I see. I guess if you go to a logarithmic trend, then you can really see a channel where it's just following this black line here, this big black line that I've drawn. It just wants to keep going along this trend line. And so eventually it crosses through 280,000. Let me just pull the line out. Can you? Yes, you. And you just kind of keep pulling it, and it goes through 280,000 and 700,000 and a million and 2.8 million and then 6 million. It just keeps pulling out, because the reason why Bitcoin in dollars keeps going higher is because the dollar keeps losing its value as it gets diluted against Bitcoin, which cannot be diluted. Just like there was once upon a time a limited amount of gold that was in the world. It was hard to find, hard to mine, and so they used that as the fiat currency. But now they're finding better ways to find gold, or and then sometimes, just like, it's kind of funny, just like Bitcoin gets lost on somebody's computer hard drive and thrown into a trash dump by his wife. Sometimes gold falls to the bottom of the sea and doesn't come back. But there's still a limited amount of Bitcoin in the world, which, as the dollar loses value, Bitcoin gains value proportionally, kind of exponentially still, because the adoption isn't 100%. The market is not saturated for Bitcoin, not by any means. So if Bitcoin keeps going up, then MicroStrategy has to keep going up. MSTR. And so what I see is that, let's look at a weekly chart. Everything that MicroStrategy has done to this point was 5 waves up, and it hits the all-time high of $543. And now we're back down. Let's see. Do I have a... Let's take it down to the wave start here. Or no, I should take it down to the wave 2 here, because it's going to grow, right? So what's price done now? It's dropped back. I've got to reverse this. Price dropped back to the 786 right here. Just wicked right just below 298, but closed a weekly candle above 70.2. It tried to regain the 50% level at 384.51, failed and sent us back down. But now you can see on the weekly chart, this Ichimoku baseline is still holding a support. Even though we wicked through it a little bit during this past week, the candle is going to close above it. Anyway, I just see all of the price action we've had so far. I don't think it's at a lower low. So that's your wave 1 and your wave 2. And here's my Fibonacci extensions. And 100% of that move, all the move it did prior, stacked on top of the wave 2, takes you to 824.05, which I think is going to end up being support. I'm looking for 764, 382, 1382, 100, 2382. So, my next larger 5-wave impulsive pattern for MicroStrategy goes to just over $1,500. And that's why I'm so bullish on MicroStrategy. Then MSTX is the 2x long ETF of MicroStrategy. And yeah, I'm underwater in it now. I was underwater in here. I DCA'd, kind of reclaimed to the point where I didn't lose that much money. And then what I do, I bought back too soon. I bought right back in. I should have waited for this, but that's fine. My cost basis is somewhere around $60, I think now, thanks to that MSTX, that one-time dividend they paid out at the end of the year. It went right into my shares right here before price started to recover again. So, and I missed I should have sold some when things looked really good January 6th. I did not. So now here we are, January 10th, and we're back kind of lower again, but it's still a higher low. Anyway, MSTX, my large degree chart, I'm looking for this thing to run up to 163.77 for the wave 3 sub 1, wave 3 sub 2 back to 83. Then the wave 3 tops out at 293. We go back to 200, and then the wave 5 goes to 500. So I'm looking to make all kinds of money with MSTX. And my portfolio, which is full of MSTX, GME, ACHR, DXYZ, Tiger, what's this called? FinTech Holding Limited. Oh, we didn't get to talk about that with Kat. Anyway, this is another one I'm quite big on. My portfolio has been oscillating between $1 million and 1.2 million and $1 million and 1.2 million and $1 million and 1.2 million forever. And it's because I'm stubborn and I'm not taking enough off the top when it gets really bullish looking, so that I have money to buy when it gets really bearish again. Bearish looking, I'm sorry. There's nothing bearish about this chart. It's just bearish looking. It feels terrifying down here. But if you take some money, if you take some cash up here and hold it and don't spend it, don't spend it, wait for it to look terrifying and then buy these dips, then you can stack those gains instead of going from $1 million to 1.2 million to $1 million to 1.2 million. I could have gone to $1 million, $1.2 million, $1.4 million, $1.6 million, $1.8 million, and I didn't. I didn't trade correctly because still, at the end of the day, with all these technical charts and everything I do, I'm still just a freaking average trader. But I'm learning every day a little bit more. The more I kind of repeat the mantras that that Kat and Matt have to say, the more I'm starting to change my stupid, stubborn behavior. And that's it. That's the message I wanted to give there. So thanks for the question about why am I bullish on STX. Let's see. Jack Thomas, good morning. New to the channel. Hey, everybody. It's Cantonese Cat. I love that little ditty, his jingle. Cat sounds like Elon Musk. That's funny. Hope he gets to hear that. I'll have to tell him that later. Can I check DGRO and TLT, please? All right, this is for Max Meyer. I am going to try to get through all these requests, actually, because there aren't too many of them. If you put in a lot of requests now after 10:40, I'm not sure if I'll get them. Oh, here's a quick question. Nicholas asked, Tracker, how many bear markets have I gone through? All right, that's a great question. Let me handle that real quick before we go back to... Here's the SPX. Let's look at it on a monthly chart. I've been trading since I traded a little bit before 2011, before 2011, but I wasn't any good. I wouldn't say that I got, had built a good foundation until I really started trading every day, or at least on a regular basis, and that really started in 2011. So how many bear markets have been through? I mean, talk about living through it. I was born in 1970, and I remember the gas lines. during the Carter administration. I remember the oil embargoes. I remember the financial crises in '87, and I remember the dot-com bust. I was a college student during the dot-com bust a second time. I was in college. I was supposed to graduate in 1981. I went to college in 1987, but I did not graduate. I worked in tech, in IT, for this period of time, and retail, tech and retail. I kind of went back and forth between tech and retail. I was not in the market during the dot-com boom, but I remember commuting and seeing all the signs where people were trying to hire web designers, with signs by the side of the road. They're so desperate to hire people who had any kind of experience doing WebEx, web design. And then I remember the dot-com bust, and I remember Enron, and I remember AOL and all that. So I remember what the economy felt like from 1999 to 2000. And then I was working in construction during the housing bubble, doing computerized computer scheduling. I was using my IT skills to help a large company take a small subsidiary that they acquired and computerize their construction system. And I remember once 2008 hit and it started to feel like this, I said, I've got to get into a different industry because this isn't going well. So I left construction, retail construction, not commercial construction, retail construction. And I went into healthcare. I went into, let's see. It was basically like a trade that supports healthcare is what I did from 2008 until 2011. And I wasn't trading the market then either, but I definitely felt the economy strengthening. All right, so from 2011 to 2012 was a bit of a downturn, but it's bear markets. I guess it depends on to answer the question how many bear markets are there in. It depends on your looking at time scale. And I guess I've been trading one of the greatest uptrends we ever had. And I traded right through this little downturn here from 2019. Then, of course, the pandemic. Here's the pandemic right here, 2020, March 2020 was the bottom of that. And then an incredible recovery. And I was right here with you guys through 2023, or well, let's see. I showed up in late October 2023, right? But I've been through this whole market, and I was trading myself. And I actually did really well from the beginning of 2023 to the end of 2023. I mean, a bunch of money. Let's see. I'm trying to remember the years. I made a bunch of money on Palantir IPO, which I wanted to say was back in 2018. I don't know. I'm probably belaboring this point. But, I've been through market downtrends and market uptrends, and my charts don't always go straight up the way they do now. But look how we're all doing after the pandemic low. And then we hit this high in 2022. And here's where Bitcoin and everything just kind of like collapsed for a while. But now we're in this wave 3. The pandemic is where I start a new set of Elliot waves. This is my wave start. Wave 1 was the 2022 top. Wave 2 was the 2022 bottom. And since then, we've been in a really lovely uptrend. And I think that this wave 3 is going to continue in the SPX until 6,738. I think we've got a lot more bullish stuff to go in 2025. And then we'll have to see what happens here. mean, on a larger time scale, I suppose I should really just draw a channel here. Oh, that's the wrong tool. From like here through here, and then top it out here. Yeah, it could go. The wave 4 could be bad after 2025. We'll see. I'm not sure if maybe it'll just be a little shorter. Let me leave it alone. All right, I'm sorry. On to the requests. Back to the requests. All right, DGRO. I don't think I've ever seen this chart before. Let's do this one. DGRO. Oh, this is the iShares Core Dividend Growth ETF. All right. I think both your requests are ETFs, aren't they? Pandemic low. Let's start there. I'm going to use an Elliot wave Fibonacci, a trend-based fib extension. So this high here, $56, to this wave 2 low of 43.77. And so now, look, we got to this almost the 764. This kind of says it wants to go to the 382 next, but maybe it stays more bullish. Now, let me just draw what I would normally look for. Let's start with that. I don't know. Maybe with this one I should start back here. Let's do that. I'm going to start with this low as the wave start, and the pandemic high and the pandemic low are going to serve as the 1-2 for this particular chart. All right, now it's a bit more mature. And what this chart did was, off of the wave start, it went 618, not quite 382, 132, back to the 764. So the 2236 should be next. So this DGRO, I think, should keep running to $73. This in itself has 5 waves from the wave 4 bottom to this expected wave 5 top. Let's dig into that. So from this low to this high, and then that lower low there. Oh, I used the wrong tool again. Let's see. I'm just gonna lock you and hide you for right now. From here, let's go to this one right there, and back there. All right, so now in this wave 5 that we're in, here's your subwave 2. How's the rest of this going to go? Oh, I like this. This is going to work. So next it should have done 764, 382. It did not do that. This one went to almost 1236 and back almost 764. And then it was 1786. And if it holds here, that's the 1332. Let's look for 2684. Let's do 2618. Yeah, I think that's going to work. So in a sense, I'm saying that this wave 4 is just about done. This subwave 4 of 5 is just about done with DGRO. You can see right now it's again below this 132 level of 6084. and it's did it once before that. This low was 60.57. Now we've hit, 60.60 did not make a new lower low yet. Unless I look at the 8-hour chart. Oh no, this was even lower. So look, it's still off this $60 low that would hit on December 20th, Friday, December 20th. It made a higher high and a higher low. And so it looks like just an uptrend from here. Oh, wow, this went to the 200% in after pre-market after action, actually. Here you. Oh, all right, 200 back to 1236. Yeah, let's stick with the 2618. So yeah, I think it's going to go to 7306. It's just going to take some time. But not too much time because it feels like now I got to take it from down here. And that's our target right there. Yeah. So like the hyperbolic wave says April 4th. So maybe we get $73 by April 4th. All right, that's DRGO or DGRO. TLT. Let's see. I'm going to have to do a shorter term chart on this. You know, I'm not sure I can do TLT using Elliot wave theory. Just like the same way it's hard to do it for the VIX. But what you can do is you could do it as a retraces of retraces. Reverse it. 82.42 is the low. I don't know. It seems like it might want to do 382, 236, 618. In other words, if we get a repeat of this pattern here, the bond yields keep improving. And I would just for that. And a little element on this one. The labels on the right. If you take a screenshot of that, you can. That's what I would watch for with TLT. Just a retrace back towards the recent, well, it is the high, 179.70. All right, what else do we have? Tracker, am I in a field or something? Is that a crow? No, it's funny. I use the crow noise as when everyone else has like a ping for an alert. I have a crow sound. So whenever I set an alert on my chart over here, and the alert goes off, it makes that crow sound. It's an inside joke for me. It's if you remember that episode of The Simpsons where it's like that really early episode, and they're in church and Bart broke something, and then the preacher's talking about how, you know, if you don't come forward, you're gonna burn in hell and have your eyes pecked out by crows, and then a crow goes caw, in the background, and then Millhouse jumps up and says, "Bart did it! That Bart right there!" That's why the crow. It just makes me think about that scene and giggle over and over again. Let's see, SPIR, interesting penny stock crypto play. Oh yeah, I've someone's asked me for SPIR before. Looks like I didn't chart it, or at least not on this scale. Nope, haven't charted at all on this. All right, this is a chart. It looks like it wants to try to do a retrace. So let's give it a retrace. From 280 is the all-time low, right there, back to its all-time high of 156. So it's not going to make sense at first because this is going to be big. But, you know, it wants to do 382236618, and that seems to agree with the kind of price action that I've had before here. It wants to retest whatever this resistance was at some point in the future. So now to make a chart that actually makes sense, I mean, you can basically just say, oh yeah, buy it now. If you hold it forever, eventually you'll see $61. I can't tell you how long that's going to be, but it looks like a very long time from this chart. Unless it starts to accelerate. Let's go into a 8-hour chart. Now let's try doing some Fibonacci pinball. All right, this is good. We've got a nice just leave that alone. It's supposed to, obviously the low is way back here. Oh gosh. No, I thought 280 was the low. I must have missed 329 is the low. 329 is the low. All right, so if I do a wave start, trend-based fib extension tool off of 329. Where are you? I'll just adjust it by hand to this high. 1940 back to this low. You're supposed to be 329. You are 1940, and then you're supposed to be 637. Just use my mouse wheel to scroll those pennies. All right. So based on this, the bullish extension would look like, oh, like I did a 618, which means it might want to do a 236. Sometimes they go 618, 382. It hasn't made a lower low than 382. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt. For 1382, 100%, 23. And let's just say that it tried to get to 74, and then it didn't get quite high enough for the 764, and it went a little lower than 382. I don't know. I mean, I could pull this just a little lower than that 132, and this is just a little higher than that. The 100% is just a little lower than the 232. It just looks like but yeah, I'd say if it can hold support, if it can not make a new lower low than that 1154 it did in that wick back here on December 30th, then, you know, it wants to get to somewhere between $26 and $28.62 next. I'd venture so far as to say $28.62. That is enormous. You know, and then back to 22.47. And then tops out in this wave 5 cycle at 44.72. All right, that's what that's my bullish projection from here. Let's see. Can you show IWM, please? Sure. IWM. Here's my IWM weekly chart. Let's Let's see how it's holding up so far. I used the pandemic low in March of 2020 as the beginning to this wave one top of 244.98 to this wave two bottom of 161.67. And so now we're in the subwave. We're in wave three, sub one. Which I was looking for the 618.236. And look, what we got was, I'm looking at not these ones here, but these ones here. It went to not quite the 618, but it also hasn't gone to the 236 either. It looks like it's kind of doing it. The 382 is trying to hold, even like right now, we're back below that 218.50 on the IWM. But if this could just be a wick and close the week higher than 218.50, then that would be very nice for holding at the 382. It's not going higher right now. It's still pushing lower. Why do I have it like this? Let me bring back those other fibs that I had. So 764, I guess I'll look at these. 764, 2, 382s, almost holding. So maybe this should go 289, 263. And then 356. So maybe this wave three will be long. Anyway, yeah, if everything holds up here, if we don't get much lower than where price is right now today at 216.37 in the IWM, I'm looking for 289 next, test back to 263.66, then up to 356.20. Then it comes back down to about 275, and then on up to 494. After that, the wave five just starts to really accelerate once the 3 and 4 are done. This 2 is rather short, so this wave 4 could be rather long. That's about the size of it. If you want to know something more about the ideal view on a shorter time scale, let's look at retracements. So yeah, it's made a lower low. So from this high of 244.98, it's basically at the lowest low it's been since after October 10th, when it hit this low near 214.66. You can see buy order blocks all the way going down to cover this this wick here. I'd really like to see it close over 218.50 today. And for the week. All right, retracements. So using that really cool thing that Matt has been talking about, maybe I should just go from here up to this high. And then my 7/8. You should be blue. So see how 238.43 was resistance here, got over it, tested back to 226, and then got that all-time high of 244.98. It runs all the way back to recheck out 214.60. Again, you could probably draw like a Darvis box around this price range. And so until it breaks out, you're still stuck in this range. But we can kind of narrow it down to this 786 and say once the price gets over 238.43 again for the 786, it might do a liquidity run and then break out. So look for the next time IWM can get back over 238, which is to say that, I believe it's going to go back up to 238.43 next, at least. The scary thing to watch out for is if it makes a new lower low than 214.60, which so far it has not done. If we lose that, then the market's going to immediately look to this this candle wick down here at about 2426, which then puts price action at 786 to there, and now we're past the 382, and the 36 is 213.85. I don't know. Let's just one crime at a time. Let's see if we can hold 214.60 as the low. Was this a wick right there? No, that's this part of my that's part of this box. The box. Yeah, that was just a part of the box. So anyway, let's see if we can hold the today's low of 215.92 and close the week back above 218.50. It's 11 a.m. now, so we still have a few hours. 5 hours. How's Tesla doing? Tesla has not made a new lower low. It wicked down to like 377, but hasn't gone lower than its previous low of 373. Really makes this triangle look different now. That's sharp. This might be an ending diagonal for a wave 2 that goes into a higher wave 3. All right, let's see. What else do we have requests? Sorry, I got sidetracked. All right, so when IWM bleeding stops, this is, when will it get, when will it stop? Hopefully it's already stopped. TSLL, please. Of course. Wait, let's see. I gotta make these bigger. All right, so TSLL wave 5 topped out at 41.50. So I could make a new larger degree chart. In fact, I could just get rid of all these. This one, it ended up going a little higher than the 276, maybe like 288% maybe. No, it went higher than that. Well, somewhere between the 276 and 300%. Anyway, let's get rid of these now. I'll leave the 1 through 5 there. We're in a retrace now all the way down to here. Looks like 23.36 is the bottom. All right, that didn't happen. Let's get rid of these. All right, so from let's make these numbers bigger too, so you can see them at home. All right, so here's your wave top, or I'm sorry, here's the most recent all-time high, 41.50. Pull all the way back down to 23.36. So now it's going to want to do an ABC up, and what do we get? We got a 382 already. So off this bottom, it already did the 382, but what happened? The 236 did not hold, and it sort of crossed this 11.8, which to me says it's really pushing down hard. That it's pushing a beach ball under the water, and the deeper you push the beach ball, the higher it's going to rise up. So instead of 618, I think it's going to target this 88.2 now, which just be the inverse of 11.8. You add 11.8 to 88.2, you get 100%. So this is the converse of 11.8. So yeah, let's look for that next. And aside, go to this and this. Let's make this a Fibonacci extension off of the wave 2 bottom. So from here, when it was 706, I'm going to start my wave start there. I missed it. To this high, to this low. 706. I'll just map it. All right, 706 to 4150 to 2347. 2336 is the low, actually. There we go. And 4150 is the high. Okay, I got these ones set up properly now for the fib extension. Let's go to a larger. Let's go to 4-hour chart. All right, so this should go 764, which is, look how it lines up with the 141, 141.4 here, to 382, which is almost like the 76.4, to the 132, to the 100%, 32. So this takes TSL to 105.40. Getting down into it. Yeah, like this kind of goes to the, looking at these retracements, it kind of goes to the 1414, back to the 764, and then up higher. So I'll go ahead and put these, I'll type these numbers in. I'm just going to use the ones from the extension waves here. 49.67. And this projection remains valid so long as price doesn't go lower than 23.36. If it goes lower than 23.36, then I have to pull this down to whatever new lower low it makes, or higher low, because right, it's still a higher low as long as it's not going lower than where the wave start is. All right, I was doing this. 36.52. This Tesla is so volatile. Oh no, did I accidentally? 36.52. $70.96. 57.80. And 105.40. Again, my charts don't predict timing, but this seems like, yeah, if we don't, like I said, if we don't get a lower low than 23.36, then these numbers should come true. I'm going to push to the left side. All right, you can take a screenshot if you want. That's my current TSL projection. Let's see, Kenny's find out. Been through a few bear markets. NVAX looks better and better for breakout soon. I think I agree with you. Like when you look at it on a higher time scale, like a weekly chart. Oh yeah, this is the one that looks cyclical. NVAX looks cyclical. It just it has a cycle of running up on exuberance and then getting knocked down to nothing. Running up on exuberance, getting knocked down to nothing. Running up even higher than ever before, knocked down on afterwards. And so like eventually it wants to go to 128, back to 81, and then 206.33. But that doesn't really help us on a shorter time scale. So looking at it on the 8-hour chart, I take 100% back to this recent high of 27.25, down that it made off of this low of $3.53. No, wait, what did I do? Oh, I took it to this low here, I'm sorry, of $7.00. So from 725, retracing back towards 27.25, it goes 382, 236, 618. So it wants to go to 1489 next. But what's happening is that on the way there, it struck out at the 23.6 Fivic retracement because it's foreshadowing that as support later. So it's got to be resistance the first time it hits it. Once it builds enough of a base, it'll break out. It'll go to 1489. It'll come back to retest the 23.6 Pacific extension of 1197. That's this one right over here, 23.6. And then it'll jump up to 61.8, $19.61. Then, if it wants to continue to remain bullish, it will basically do a sideways consolidation for a while to build a base, maybe down into here, maybe not lower than 1489. And then once it's done this for long enough, then it'll break out and make a new higher time scale chart. It's still not going to be ready for all this yet. It'll probably do like another think. Can I do it from 353?
Were you yelling?
Nope.
Stretching?
Nope.
Making noise?
Oh, talking to the cat, not me.
No, I'm talking to you.
I didn't scratch or yell.
Oh, I thought I heard you.
Nope. That was probably the cat. That sounds like a bird. Let's see. Off of this wants to go to 2497 back to 1585. So this would happen inside of that. Like you'd still get all of the 1489, 1197, 1961, but inside of a larger time frame of going to 2497 back to 1585. To the 1382 to the 100 and to the 2382. And that gives us 63, which then just starts to foreshadow 8097 as being resistance, but we're not there yet. So the thing has to consolidate again and do another cycle. Or something happens that makes the C wave go higher and goes straight to 88. And then it goes, that would go a little faster. Anyway, look for these numbers. If it goes higher than 14.9, like maybe to 1725, and then drops back to 14.89 as support, then it could go on to 24.97 perhaps. Anyway, if you're interested in trading the turns, it's going to be difficult with NX, but this is my best guess for now. Trading the turns in this. But if you want to hold it, it looks like, you just wait long enough. This thing's going to go from what it's trading at $9 a share right now. It has plenty of history where it like runs up into the 200s and the 300s. I don't know if this is because of reverse splits or something, but it's done it before. It can certainly do it again. This thing is a crazy oscillator. All right. What else do we have? All right, here's a great question. Ralph Bitzer says, is Mara better than MicroStrategy? Let me tell you, if you didn't watch the show that we did the Pentaveret. It's the Triumvirate show last Tuesday night, but we invited Real Blonde Broker and Heidi as well, so there's 5 of us. I showed the MicroStrategy chart earlier today. So Real Blonde Broker says MicroStrategy, it's directly correlated to Bitcoin price movement, right? So whither Bitcoin goes, so does MicroStrategy. Now Mara is more like a derivative of MicroStrategy in a way. So Mara and all the other miners are going to look and see what is MicroStrategy doing. They'll act accordingly. So for the most responsive, most direct exposure to Bitcoin, MicroStrategy is probably stronger than Mara. Though I think, isn't Mara also the one where the CEO is friends with Saylor, and Saylor got them to also get in early on the buying Bitcoin? Yeah, Mara's the other one that does that. So I don't know. Is one better than the other? My Mara chart does not move as fast as a MicroStrategy. Like I got these waves up that it's trying to get back to just like a 764 of its all-time high, 155.68. It's trying to get to a retrace basically in here. And, it's going to make just a slightly higher high than when it had this wick up to 83.45. And then it's going to consolidate again. But I think MicroStrategy, I think Bitcoin's going to move faster. So the answer is, personally, I like MicroStrategy better. I've got some miners, but I'll probably sell them off the next time they go green and use that money for more MicroStrategy. Good morning, Do Archer. So we did do ACHR a little bit with Kat here, I believe. And the distressing thing is simply that it's really made a big extension of this. Let's see. This is really its wave 5 that I see it going up to somewhere between 1656 and 1821. And so inside of that, I thought this was the 1-2. I guess it still is. It's these fibs right here. You guys are all in the way. I'm just going to get rid of this. This is like a what if, but we're so far away from it, it's not useful right now. Let's get rid of all this. All right, I just want to look at these fibs right here. So this set of fibs goes from the 626 low in the wave 4 start to this higher high and to this higher low right here at 792. So based on that, it should have gone 764, which it did a little bit of. 4. And then the 382 didn't hold. It should have been 382 right here. We're a little bit lower than it. It almost wicked to the 236 at 894, but didn't do that either. So I'd like to see it close the week again out over this 38.2%. I'd like to see today close above 957, would make it look more bullish and ready to continue on higher. So 764 to 236 makes me still kind of target this 1236 to 764. Yeah, these numbers pretty much just hold. So I'm not really changing my numbers. It's just making everything take longer. To the 2236, so I guess that is a little bit different. Maybe it'll move faster. Yeah, once again, I'm trying to kind of follow the average 75 with my parabola. It could go faster, but let's be more conservative and say it doesn't go faster. So, yeah, I'm looking for 1326 next. Drop back to 1122 and then on up to 1758. Let's just go with that. And let's get rid of all this. All right, that's my story. I'm sticking to it for right now. If ACHR does get up to 1758, that is a 90% improvement in price from where prices are right now at 920. So once again, I want to close the day above 957. Tell me when it touches 957, and tell me if it gets as low as 894. You don't want to see. All right, and that's ACHR now. Feel free to take your screenshot. It's just a much longer. This wave 2 of the wave 5 is taking a long time. Whoa, we are still here. I know. I guess I ran a lot longer than I was planning on it. Oh, Candy's Cat did a quick post on X for Nicholas for SPIR. If you're interested, check out Candy's Cat. Tracker's going the distance. He's going for speed. I love that song. I'm all alone in the time of need. Has qubits been asked about? I did qubits really early on, but the show's so long, I'm not going to ask you to go back and watch it again for that. Well, qubits was like the first thing. Oh no, it was in this morning show, not the show I'm doing now. It was in the mornings with Matsby and Cantonese Cat this morning. I dumped everything that I thought about, all my thoughts about computing. I think it's just getting started to get started. And all the price action we just had with qubits, we hit an all-time high of 1141, and we just had it dip back down to 470. This is just your larger degree 1-2. And so where I see it going next are these numbers that are very much too small for you to see. There. So I'm looking forward to go to 1231 next, back to 850, 1846, back to 1466, and on up to 2842. 1231. $850, 1846, 1466, and 2842. Something like that. There you go. Feel free to take that screenshot if you want for qubits. That's how I see it playing out from here. I'm very bullish on quantum. It's just starting to, whoops. It's just starting to get started. Why didn't it show this? Okay. Do I see Mara share increasing? Yeah, Mara share will. Oh, I mean, my staking is not going to increase. It's actually going to decrease, like I said. I want to go less to the derivatives of MicroStrategy and more into MicroStrategy. The closer I get to Bitcoin, the better, I think. Is everyone going to just ignore the huge bear flag in IWM? Yes. The answer is yes. Hi, Tracker, can you check DXYZ, please? I think I did that already by now. Yeah, same thing. Once again, I'd like to see it close the day and the week above 5680. After it's done this wick down to the 61.8 at 5107. Actually, how low did it go? It went to, it's not going to, this thing's in the way. It didn't go as low as 5107. But yeah, 123, 123.6 back to the 76. Went a little lower again. So 236 is my target next for 114.61. And again, all this stuff is just what if, and I don't think it's too far out to worry about it. Let's look for I'll be selling ahead of 114.61. Oops. And that's my DXYZ chart now. So if it gets to 114.61, that's a 110% higher price from where price is right now. All right, with that, I'm going to end the show. Thank you guys so much for having spending all this time hanging out with me. Oh, Benny was thinking about selling bit farms. So here's Benny and bit farms. Before I go, you don't need all at the bottom. I mean, man, it would hurt to. It depends on what your cost basis is, of course. Just wait for Bitcoin. Wait for things to get really bullish looking again. Because look, it's going to want to go to 381 next. So that's a price improvement of 144%. So 144% improvement there from here to there versus MicroStrategy. Why is this? My escape key is not working. How did I do this? Huh. I can't seem to get my my tabs to show again. I don't know what I've done here. My oh, there we go. There's the tabs. What was I saying? Okay, so 144% improvement to this next wave one target for bit farms versus MicroStrategy from where price is right now. Let's just make a new one. 113% price improvement for MicroStrategy. So if you can just be patient, I think you're better off holding with qubits to its top. So then sell out when you're up 144% from where price is now, and then wait for MicroStrategy to come back down to like 491, and then buy into MSTR or MSTX. So don't if you're down low on something deep like bit farms, just hang on to it. It's going to improve better than MicroStrategy. Then switch horses. Don't switch horses now. Your cost basis is 230. Okay. Bit farms. Oh, your cost basis is not bad at all. Yeah, just hang on. You're going to be in the green soon. Stick with bit farms. Stay in that grocery store lane for a little bit longer, and then come back. And then after you're doing really well. All right, that's it. Thank you all for hanging out with me this morning. I hope I was able to show you something that you hadn't seen before. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the funny pages. Have a relax. Maybe this is the weekend. I was hoping like last night that Bitcoin would run up, and it did not. But maybe this Sunday is when it will finally give us a new higher high, or at least some hope of a higher high. Because here we are still at low 9135 91. Oh, that's what I got. I'm through. All right, so yeah, it just needs. We need to get back over 100,000. It wicked over 100,000 this week. Back on Monday. Just needs to get back above there again. Weekly candles again. Get over 104,700, and then we're on our way. So that's it. Let's just be patient. Don't let them shake you out. I know it's three red trading sessions in a row is hard to handle, but handle it. You can do it. You've done it before. You can do it again. I'm not even trading today. I didn't even look at my account today. Have not even opened it once today. I just did the show with Matt and Kat, and with you guys now and Kat, and then haven't even looked. I'm not even going to worry about it. That's how calm I am. All right, so guys, have a relaxing weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. And don't forget to check out Kenny's Cat's feed. He did something on PTIR. I think it was PTIR. No, SPIR. He did something for SPIR, and he'll do some more stuff tomorrow. So just follow Matt and Kat and myself, and then any of the rest of our crew, hiding out, Freedom by 40, A Trades Crypto, and Real Blonde Broker, and Red Fox Rider. All those guys, they're great to follow. All right.